Right.
I remember when Lost first had their first ARG like 4 or 5 years ago. I got really into it for like 48 hours, and then I realized that I could just sit back and watch other people find the answers and then just post them online. And then, of course, I realized that everything about my Lost obsession was a waste of time, so here we are.
Yeah, how brutal was that ending? Man, like...
I never saw the epilogue.
The epilogue.
There was an epilogue?
The epilogue is on the Season 6 DVD, which just came out, but they leaked some of the footage on... Talk about answering the most pointlessly boring questions that no one really gave a shit about. They're like
what?
They answered the question of
Hugo's weight.
Where the Dharma food drops come from. Like, anyone still gives a shit.
Yeah, nobody cares.
Literally, Ben Linus goes into a warehouse where 2 guys in Dharma uniforms are packing up food, and he's like, hey guys, guess what? You're fired. Here's your severance checks. And they're like, what are you talking about? And he's like, well, it turns out the Dharma initiative's been gone for so long. And they're like, we're still sending food out there. And Ben's like, don't worry about it. I'll answer some of your questions. And then so Ben shows them one of the videos, another Dharma video with Chang in it, talking about polar bears or some shit. As if we didn't know where the polar bears were. We all knew that polar bears were just for experimentation. So they're like, well, here's this video about polar bears in our experiments. Yes, we knew the Dharma Initiative was using polar bears in their experiments. Why?
What end? We didn't care that they were using polar bears in experiments.
Yeah,
we wanted to know to what end.
The only good thing is that they actually have Walt in one scene where they go. He's
like 30.
Yeah, he's playing for the NBA. He's
Why's he got to be playing for the NBA?
Because he's very big. He's tall.
Got it.
Oh, is he black? I don't even remember.
Shit.
Yeah.
You keep your mouth shut.
Yeah. So he's in an insane asylum, and they go, and Ben and Hurley break him out, and they say, "Come to the island with us," and he says, "Gee, thanks," and that's it. It sucks.
Jerk off.
The only thing worse than not getting answers is getting shitty answers to questions you didn't give a shit about anyway. But it begs the question as to why Walt wasn't in the big church in heaven.
Right.
Whatever. Who fucking cares? I'm done.
Yeah, it left a sour taste in your mouth, didn't it?
No, it's not that the finale was. It's not like the finale was so bad and I was so disappointed with it. But
just
really,
lackluster.
I think the show really peaked at season 3, and then after that, it was a slow decline.
Yeah,
so by the time
everyone fucking dropped off in season 3.
So by the time they got to season 6, and by the time the end, I just wasn't interested anymore. I was like, you know what? It wasn't that I was crushed by the ending. It was more like, I about expected that because the last few years have been kind of...
As a writer of the Santa Babies series.
Well, I mean, the people felt the same way about Santa Baby 2. They thought it really peaked in Santa Baby 1, and then Santa Baby 2 really dropped off in quality. I'm not bulletproof, people.
Is it a good argument? Is it a good defense when you're like, oh, but it was all about the characters, yet they put cliffhangers at the end of every single episode? How are cliffhangers not about story?
Yeah. You know what?
Not about propelling physical acts forward.
But tell me,
and then to claim it was only about characters, and we don't actually have any. We don't have any fucking. We're not tied to paying off any any story answers whatsoever. Right. We're just going to pay off the. We're only going to satisfy characters. It doesn't work.
But it's not even that we didn't get some answers. It's that we kind of got shitty answers. Like, well, really, the island is about these two, immortal guys brothers that hate each other, and there's a yellow cave that they're fighting over, and it's just magic.
Skittles.
And that's literally
Skittles.
it. Like, that's it. Yeah.
Skittles flavor, man.
And I don't think that any of the characters wound up in places that were particularly, satisfying for any of them. Really, I'm trying to think of who had a really good satisfying ending. None of them really. I mean,